So this is session 6 of Mutant Year Zero Gauntlet Quarterly as we move into February. Last session, our chronicler walked off into the waste with his imaginary friend. And another chronicler mysteriously went missing. It's the delight to me that our new player Asher has chosen to do chroniclers walking into a crazy situation with that, which will be much fun to play with. So what we're going to do today, if you're watching this at home, we're going to talk about getting the character set up. We're going to talk about integrating that character. I also want to check in with Matt. He had expressed last time that he might want to change up some of his goals and things like that. We're going to check in with him and see that, and we'll check in with everybody else. And then we'll go to the arc phase, and then we'll get into the situation. So Asher, you saw that you guys, I can see there, you've got 14 points to spend on your attributes. And they should be pretty self-explanatory, I think. I do want to say that in this game they have skills, and all the skills match up to a particular attribute, so you're always rolling that attribute with it, and it's a pool of d6s that you're going to be rolling. And then because you're coming in a little bit later, you're going to have 12 points to spread around on your skills. Your chronicler skill is called Inspire, and that's essentially to persuade people and push them and boost them and all of that kind of stuff. Do you have any questions about what those skills mean?
So what's in the zone?
So know the zone is when you're out exploring. If you come across something like a monster or a piece of fauna, it's your ability to go, oh, I know what that is, and I know what that does. That's typically the stalker's sort of one of their fortes.
How's that compared to Scout?
Okay, so Scout is actually the general notice skill when you're searching for something, when you're doing spotting stuff, whereas the know the zone is very much a kind of a knowledge-based thing.
Okay.
And then Comprehend is if you find artifacts of the old world, that's your ability to say, hey, I know what that is, and I know what it does.
Okay, and then I think I want a lot of Endure because other people have died. Right.
Endure is won't help you with that.
Okay.
Higher strength will help you with physical damage. Endure is used for survival tests, so it will help you in certain respects. It is a hard choice. As Sherry points out, too, before you go any further with your skills, I'm going to draw 2 random mutations for you.
Okay.
And you're going to pick one of them to be your mutation for the game. Everybody is a mutant. Everybody begins with a power. You can get more during the course of the game, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay, and that's what we already have. Okay. All right, so you have a choice of 2 mutations. One is cryokinesis. That's the ability to freeze things using pure willpower.
Oh, wow.
You can cause frostbite in an enemy. You can freeze a water surface, and you can extinguish a fire or cool down a hot object. So those are basically 3 powers there. The other choice is luminescence, which essentially is a control of light. Just like fireflies, certain type of fish, your body has a natural ability to emit light. You can release a burst of light to blind a target at near range. You can light up an area around you for a few minutes. And you can also use it to briefly bend the light around you to escape from a situation.
Oh. And we're on a ship, right? So there's a lot of water around.
There is a lot of water around, yes.
That I think the luminescence makes more sense for like an archivist or a chronicler because they need to read a lot of things.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Actually, I really like that idea. The full rules for your mutation, there is a handout on Roll20 that has all the text of each of the mutations, and you can find it there later on.
And do I put that on my character sheet?
Yeah, you can just drop that. Let's see where the mutation write-up is. Yeah, the mutation description is right there.
And then there's a talent?
Yeah, so you get 2 talents at the start. There are 3 talents that are special to the chronicler, or you can take a general talent. I'm going to tell you what the 3 chronicler talents are, and then I believe in the Google folder we have a full list. Yeah. So the chronicler talents are, where those are at. Agitator, which allows you to inspire, have a better chance to inspire somebody to fight or shoot. Bone Saw, that is the art of sewing bones and sewing skin. You get a +2 modification when you roll to heal a critical injury. Or Performer, once per session when you're in the arc, you can perform for the people. You can tell a story. And people will, if they get successes, people will dig it and give you bullets or rations. So those are the 3 that are available that are just the Chronicler's ones. And so you can take a look at those and see which appeal to you. And feel free to go, okay, well, I'm going to hold on some of these points, or I'm going to hold on this talent pick to do it in play. So feel free to do that.
Good. And I had 12 points in skills to use, right?
Yes.
Okay. And only 1 talent?
Actually, you're going to get 2 because you're coming in a little bit later.
Okay, cool.
That's super generous.
Why are you so pleased with yourself?
I am super pleased with myself all the time.
So great.
That is my life. I finally got a comment on our first Mutant Year Zero session video. It was, actual play begins in 1 hour, 12 minutes in. Thank you, sir.
Hey, world creation is actual play. We are at play. We are expressing our creativity. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I thought. And then I thought, I actually appreciate that this is a person who watched to there and went, okay, I should tell people if they just want to watch the video. I was like, that's an admirable service someone did.
That's true. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Mark when we start playing.
Timestamps.
So while Asher is pontificating,
let's talk.
Well, I first wanted to mention that I think with my advance for this session, after having my jaw punched off last time and having my friends have to quite embarrassingly drag me out of a combat situation, which I'm usually supposed to probably excel at, Obi does not want to have that happen again, and I think they are. I'm going to take Never Surrender, which says when you're broken by damage, you can get back on your feet immediately without anyone healing you. Roll to endure. For every success, you get 1 point of strength back and can fight a little while longer.
That's a nice one.
So, yeah, I figure it would probably come in handy considering how often I seem to be diving into the thick of things and dropping to 0.
It's those range attacks that get you. There's just nothing.
Because this game actually range damage is really can be quite nasty because your only option is to get to cover. There's no dodge or anything like that. So Matt, let's talk about your character real quick. I'm going to come back to Asher, and we're going to talk about the relationships and big dreams and all that stuff. But where are you at with Obakai?
Well, I'm thinking that while the big dream might be an eventual goal for Obakai, I don't think that it's necessarily a really realistic immediate thing for them, and it's a little outside of the scope of kind of like what the game is angling towards. So I was thinking of keeping kind of the spirit of that, but it seems like a lot of the core thing about them is centered around having this sense of belonging to Victoria and the sort of gang that she runs and the ideas that she's pushing forwards. Just because I think Obakai, they feel like an outsider compared to most because of how extreme their mutation is, and I think that the way things have been done for the last few decades or for the last however long, I don't think they're satisfied with. So it could just be something about kind of upsetting the status quo, tipping the balance in favor of Victoria, and kind of getting her a higher status as a boss, so that more people are sort of swayed by her ideas, and we start pushing out into the zone more. It's a little nebulous, right? But
well, take some time to phrase that for yourself. But I like that direction. That does seem to be more in keeping with what you've done. And so we'll talk about that. Sherry, did you pick a new person you hate yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. There's a part of me that says, yeah. So I'm still thinking. Let me go through who peeps are. Okay.
All right.
All right, so I think I chose Bonesaw and Coward.
Okay. And what does Coward do?
Let me read it. If someone shoots at you and rolls a hit, you can take cover behind a friend at arm's length or near you. Friend has to accept taking a hit for you, roll to move. If it doesn't count as an action. If the roll is successful, the shot hits your friend instead of you. Maybe that's not a good. Maybe that's not a good one because I chose a lot of strength, right? So I could take more hits.
It's up to you. You took force, which is essentially that's not going to help you take damage because it's actually the strength stat that takes your damage. But force is your ability to lift things, like do physical labor.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 strength is pretty average, I'd say. So I like the ability. It sounds fun. It's kind of the inverse of my character has like a bodyguard thing where they jump in to take the blow and then you'll be jumping out of the way.
It's not bad. You got an enforcer.
All right. So, okay. Then I'll take that. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is, since you kind of got your talents picked, look at that. I'm going to have everybody introduce their character to you where they're at right now, because so they can kind of situate themselves, and then we'll have you pick. There's only 200 people or so in the arc, so you all know each other. So we'll establish your relationship to the other PCs, and then we'll pick your relationship to NPCs from the playbook, and we'll go through that after they've introduced themselves. Sound okay? So let's start, Matt. We kind of talking with you to introduce when the camera comes in. What do we see of Obakai right now? And your pronoun is they, them, right?
Got it. Obakai, they would be. Have we completed the tavern?
Yes, I believe the tavern was completed last time.
Okay, cool. Then I think that they would be kind of sitting down at sort of a booth in the tavern with, now that we've got water again, sort of like actually we've got that questionable beer that NEKO brewed up last time, right? So probably got a big tankard and just a whole bunch of food in front of them. Obakai is a large crocodile or alligator person. If you click over to the journal and check out the picture there, you can see what they look like. They have a metal lower jaw that any KO actually created for them and kind of hooked them up with because they lost it in a battle before. They are an enforcer. They are part of a gang, and their gang leader, her name is Victoria. She is a sort of a newer boss who's kind of on the come up. She's interested in what possibilities lie out in the why am I blanking on this?
Zone?
The zone. She's interested in the zone and in expeditions out there. And she's got a lot of mutants, like heavy mutants, like people that don't look very human at all, that kind of work underneath her, because a lot of other places would stigmatize that a little bit or just not be as okay with that. They're an enforcer. They have a big scrap axe. They're very tough person. I think that's most of what I have to say.
Okay, awesome. Next is our stalker, our blade wielding stalker. That is Syntax. So, how would you describe Syntax?
Syntax is overall pretty bitter and angry because they had a best friend and they were killed, and then Jonats swept it under the rug after he killed that person. Like, there was no retribution or anything like that. And but throughout the course of play last time, they softened a little bit and warmed up to people, and considers both Nikko and Obakai to be pretty close friends now, I think. And even cared a little bit about Silas, because I went into the zone to go get them back, basically. So yeah, I'm like Denzel Washington at the end of Enforcer instead of at the beginning of Enforcer. Loosely based on
that, if you're not aware. Do you imagine that some time has passed, that Silas is gone, and you kind of accepted that, or is that still an open question for you?
Yeah, I think I accepted that he was gone when I couldn't find him, because I'm the best at what I do. So
Okay.
He was meant to be found.
I also think I resolved my big dream too, though, to find something worth dying for. I have already verified that by protecting Beira and Ellen, and then also going after Silas. So I don't know.
That's a really good question. What is the next stage for Syntax?
Maybe finding a better place, because this place doesn't seem sustainable, especially after that firefight we had. I just think that it's probably going to go to crap over and over.
So finding some kind of sanctuary, kind of secure place. Okay, that sounds good.
If I could jump in real quick, one of the things Obakai is really, they're a very hopeful person about what lies out in the zone, and they think there's a better life out there, and that there might be other communities that are worth hooking up with. And
he has no real evidence to that effect.
No, not really, except for the two folks that we brought in, but they don't seem to know much about where they came from either. But what I was going to say is that I think what they might be trying to do in the next few sessions is getting you, Syntax, involved with Victoria and her gang, and trying to recruit you for our squad, because we're all about getting out there in the zone, and you seem to share a bit of what my dream is in some way or another. So.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that play bit here. I want to get everybody set up first. Let's come to you, Nikko, and give us where Nikko is at.
Do I do anything about the big dream mechanically, or just replace it with a new sentence?
I think we gave you the XP for it last time. So
we did? Okay.
I think we did. So There's no mechanic for any kind of cost or payoff for making that change.
Okay.
It's not like Lady Blackbird. Any KO?
Okay, well, Esther stepped away for a moment, so I'm not going to introduce myself, but I will tell you that I think that I've chosen to hate Carp Face because he's a drinker, but he's one that seems to be getting stronger from drinking, and also he's been trying to follow me around. I think he's trying to figure out where the car is or something.
And what's his name?
Carp Face.
Carp Face.
Because he looks like a fish.
Okay. We have simple naming conventions here in the Ark.
It's just one I can remember.
Okay. What kind of role is Carp Face?
I don't know. Once you become a drinker, aren't you just sort of drain on everyone's resources?
Well,
Okay.
I think that drinkers are convinced that the lake water is fine or the ocean water is fine. And obviously it's not, but that might not make them totally useless. I know we were saying the algae eaters were kind of that, so maybe the drinkers are a little less.
Oh, I think we established that the drinkers were poisoning themselves pretty badly early on. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, they are undertaking the rot in its full. Carpe diem joke. Thank you, Fraser. It's like having Rich at the table.
Yeah, it would have been a better pun name, but we would have had to really mash up the pronunciation.
His name is Carpe Diem.
Yeah. Die-M.
And we switched your person to protect last time too, didn't we?
Yeah. I think we were talking about the little girl Ellen, just because I was kind of looking out for her.
Okay. Not that's.
Or was it? Oh no, Arby.
Arby. That's what I was thinking.
Arbitrary. Arbitrary, who is coming off his LG addiction. This is a strange world.
And you did manage to stop it such that the various Delight and his people did not destroy the algae. It has not been eliminated, so it's still an issue in the Ark.
Did that because Arby's really messed up, and there's definitely got to be a wean-off period. So
that makes sense. Give him just a second.
Whatever happened to Tearsel? They're dead, right? OD'd on algae. That was it.
Yeah. Tearsel was the young chronicler. So there's 3 chroniclers that are dead. Thank you. I'd forgotten about that.
Heavy.
It's like a bad month to be a chronicler.
It is. Hey, Syntax. So you kind of set up Ellen and Bayruck. They've kind of got quarters there, and you were kind of housed in a different area.
Mm-hmm.
Has that changed now? Are you moving closer to them? Are you moving them somewhere else? What do you think?
Maybe if we're moving time forward, that'd be cool. Like maybe I'm like more of a nice and soft person because I'm like living or coming around their place a lot and interacting with them and stuff, and I'm no longer as like petulant.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And certainly you're one of the few who has actually demonstrated some skill there.
You mean basic social skills?
Yes.
Yeah. Never mind the people that threatened Bayra and Ellen,
Right.
and I was like, headshot.
So, NEKO, why don't you give us your quick rundown?
Sure. NEKO is she's a gearhead, and she thinks of herself as being pretty darn smart. and she might be, but she's also really good at getting herself in trouble. She kind of is always fussing with things and sticking her fingers in them and seeing what's going to happen. And so she pisses a lot of the other gearheads off and stuff like that. But she's pretty good at what she does. She comes off as being kind of like she doesn't like people and things, but she's actually kind of protective, particularly of people who have had it rough. So she's kind of looking after her friend Arby, who's another gearhead who got himself in a bunch of trouble, and she's hung by Obi for eons, and and she's right there when Silas is going to go off and do something. So she's a weird duck, and you never know whether she's going to zig or zag, but mostly she'll zag with her buddies.
Nice. So Asher, why don't you give us sort of how you're picturing Vita, and then let's walk through those relationship questions, if that's cool with you.
Sure. I didn't have much of a picture. I was trying to figure out what the setting was like, I guess. But
so let me give you the 5-minute quick rundown of where everybody's at right now.
Okay. So I was just picturing them as like an Arkham Knight, because that's the
that's
role.
fine. So on the Ark, it's about 200 people. They're all about the same age. They have no memory exactly how they came to be. Everyone except the Elder has mutations. The Elder is older and is dying. If you're a chronicler, you're among that small cadre of people who can write and read, have their own text and language. They're also the ones that record when people go out into the zone. They're also the ones that are closest by the Elder, because the Elder certainly knows more things. He's taught everybody how to do things. However, the ship is huge, but it's also divided into several different camps. There are several bosses that have control, like Delight up in the north controls the water supply, and then Orion controls this wrecked out oil derrick that is out there, and we've got Victoria, who our enforcer works for, Marlot, who's kind of a schemer, and then I believe the other one is Johamund, who's kind of in the middle. So there's different power structures. Everybody is in the same community. It's very scattershot. It's very kind of threadbare, and they're all kind of on the edge. It's very rough, and from time to time, people go out. Stalkers go out into the zone to try and find stuff, because that grub is going to run out. Water supply is very fragile, as they discovered last time, and people also know that at some point the Elder is going to pass, and there's going to be a real question about who's in charge around here.
All right. Looking at the map, I like the algae eater den. Since I glow, I think that would be a cool connection.
That's cool. So the algae eaters were a group that were essentially eating that as a drug, and they got eliminated last time. So there's a lot of space there for anybody who wants to go and settle in there. Because it's kind of being, handled by other people to try and keep it from being a drug source, but maybe more of a resource now. So that's a great place to be, especially because you can glow.
All right, yeah. So I'll go fit in with the algae.
So how do you think Vita pictures what they do? Is it very much that they are, constantly writing a story, or are they observing and then going back and writing up a summary? How are they? How do they imagine that process of being a chronicler? What does that mean to them?
I imagine it like the old scientists, like Darwin or something, where he has a little notebook with like sketches of things and his like thoughts about it.
So
like
less
theories.
of an ongoing epic story and more of a you are gathering information, details, that kind of thing.
Right.
Nice.
And yeah, maybe putting them together somehow, like having
Awesome.
a theory of everything.
Absolutely. The rise and people trying to figure out how technology works is really important. To tell you, recently within the chroniclers, there maybe were about a dozen of you, and a younger one of the, or at least the less skilled of them, died, overdosed on algae, and then just a short time ago, two of the other chroniclers who kind of had a rivalry, one of them vanished, and the other one walked out into the zone. And the scuttlebutt is that the one who left to go into the zone probably killed the other one.
Quite a rivalry.
Yes, yeah. So there's a lot of tension there. You do know the other PCs. So on the playbook, it has a choice of some relationships to the other PCs. And so you can pick from those, or you can come up with a different relationship to have to them.
All right, let me get up the playbook again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I saw the talents. So there's hate and protect.
There's at the bottom, after talents, are the relationships to other PCs. The first.
Oh, PCs, not NPCs.
We'll start with that one. Or you can come up with something else. Don't feel constrained by those.
I feel like Anikio is an experimenter like I am.
Okay.
So maybe that would fit for like the hero of the story. So she's like the hero of the story, but doesn't know it because I think she's gonna like find something.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
Do I need a certain number of these, or?
Oh, you should do one for each. You should do one for each PC. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's maybe super unclear.
And Obakai is probably the threat, right? Like he's making this stuff up. Or they're making this stuff up.
Yeah, certainly. In your experience, Obakai has these fanciful notions about what's going on in the zone, but also he's been aggressively agitating for fights between the different bosses. And word has come down to you that he has tried to instigate some wars.
They're trying to tear down the status quo. They don't like how things are. Burn it down.
So that's what he does. And
that sounds about right for a threat to the entire people.
Yes. And what about our stalker syntax?
I kind of like the doesn't know his own good and needs to be saved. Syntax doesn't know her own good.
That's interesting because as long as you've known her, she's probably been much more closed down. So that's interesting. I like that. Of the PCs, which one would you consider your PC buddy? The one that you would consider your friend?
I'll go with Anikia then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she spoke out to me.
Sure. And then let's look at the relationship to NPCs. You can choose one that you hate and one that you need to protect. The first one, Davin, we can just choose a different chronicler because he's the one who went over the side of the boat. Allegedly.
So each of the NPCs have a class too.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of to define sort of where they are. Some are sort of generalists, but that helps us frame them. So is there one of those three you like to hate?
3 NPC or 3 player characters.
So you choose for the NPCs, you choose one that you hate, and then you choose one that you protect.
But there are more than 3 NPCs.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of NPCs.
And if one doesn't fit, you could just make one up, like Cartface.
I think I'll go with Kara for the person I hate.
Okay.
Or were you saying it should be another chronicler?
No, it can be whoever you want. I like that.
Okay.
So how did Kara refuse to be the hero of your story?
I think she just like keeps to herself. Like I don't know much about her, so I'll be again. Like I think she's plotting something, but I don't know what. You know.
Okay. That sounds good.
Did she ever like shut you down when you tried to go to her to get the scoop? Like,
yeah, probably even like other people shut me down, right? Because they're like, "Oh, Kara told me not to say anything."
ooh, yeah,
I like that. And is there someone? We've got 3 options there for someone you need to protect, or you can come up with something else for another NPC or thing that you need to protect.
I like the idea of this of the algae, since that was like attacked before. I want to have that as something I protect.
Okay. I like that. That's a cool one. And then you've got some options there for your big dream.
Big dream. This is a person?
No, this will be a thing that you dig. So they've got 3 options there. One is to make the Ark a place of culture and learning. Another is to write the great story of how the people find Eden. And the other one is to bring children to the people and teach a daughter or a son all they need to know about the Dawn world, essentially the world before.
All right. This is all in my playbook, I just realized.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
I like the first one, for the Ark to become a place of culture and learning.
Awesome. Okay. And then under gear, you get to roll a d6 for your bullets, and then a d6 for your rations, and a d6 for your water.
So 5, 6, 6. That's pretty
nice.
great.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That is much better than anyone else has done on that. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get started sort of framing where we're at. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the projects that are going on. In this game, at the start of sessions, when the group is all at the Ark, you get to choose a big project for everyone to work on, to develop for the camp. And all the players get to decide. This is kind of a meta thing. You get to decide as players what you want to do. And there are 4 areas that are considered for this, because each project can raise the rating of these areas. So there's food supply, culture, which is about sort of art and literature and communication and all of that, technology, and warfare. Those are the 4 areas. And so far, project-wise, they've started hunting. So they've learned how to hunt. They've built some defenses, and they built themselves an ale house. So all their priorities are really, really straight. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to walk through what projects are now available for the group, and all of you can discuss what you think you might want to have everyone work on. So I will find that page here. Corpse Eater, not Corpse Eater. Okay. So during this assembly, here are some things that you all can choose from. And stop me if you have a question, or if you're like, let's focus on one particular kind of thing. I'm cool with that. A kind of more advanced project is to build a cropland, which increases the food supply. There's the slave market, which increases food supply and warfare. There's pigsty, which increases food supply. A temple, which increases culture. Zone wrestling, essentially Thunderdome, to increase your warfare. Let me make sure you guys can have access to that. A watchtower to spot enemies from afar. And 10, a militia to protect the Ark. Stables to have animals to ride. And I think that's it right now.
I have an initial thought.
Okay.
I was just thinking that since Vita's big dream is to have the Ark be a place of culture and learning, that we could maybe do Temple to start working on our culture, because we only have 2, and it'd be nice to get that to at least 5, so we open up a lot more projects. And then we could even let Vita or Asher define a little bit about like faith or something that they're interested in, if that is what Vita is about. But if not, then it could just be a different faith thing. That's just my initial idea. I'm open to obviously whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I think it's more important to like learn things to put in the archive, right? So I was actually going towards the watchtower, so we can like have a lookout and figure out what's around, and then.
Right.
So watchtower would increase your warfare. So that's a possibility.
So obviously they all have like fictional benefits, but they all have like a mechanical benefit in that they will, once we complete them, we roll a D6 based on, or 2D6 based on whatever that they're going to grant us. And if you did want to get things like a museum or a library, we'd want to upgrade our culture. And right now it's only at 2. I'm cool with Watchtower or something like that as well, but we'd be going pretty heavy into warfare. And
let me check in with Syntax, and with those voices in mind, what does Syntax think?
I think Syntax would go with a watchtower too, just because I'm pretty convinced that people are going to be coming for us. Last time, Asher, we stole a raider's car and killed them all. It feels like they might want to be coming at some point. So we like tried to cover our tracks and stuff, but I don't know. Feels like they'd want to find us and get us, because a car is a pretty big deal.
Any KO? What about you?
See, raiders are dumb, and we were smart, so we don't have to worry about them right away. However, that algae is dangerous stuff, and everyone is kind of addicted to it. It's going to be going back unless we build a structure around it that shapes it into something that's not that sort of thing that they have to partake in a certain amount of moderation, and just pretty much full protection of Arby at that point. So she wants something that will prevent Arby from just going in there and laying in the pool and killing himself.
Interesting.
Asher,
so I
did
also
you say that
brought us to a thing. I apologize.
Asher, did you say that Vita wanted to move into the algae den area?
Yeah, I think so.
And you could kind of have a say on what like we turn it into, because that could be cool. Because it's kind of be like the place that you tend to, right?
Right. So is that similar to this? Where
Yeah,
like,
we could make that the frame for doing a temple there to kind of get the algae sort of out of people's general hands and making an improvement to the culture.
Was it the temple? Or that sounded like a pigsty to me or something, where you're like segregating it.
No,
Pigsty actually going out and getting pigs, so
yeah.
It could be cool to. It was a cult before, to kind of like reframe it as like a more positive faith, and instead of using it to just get high all the time, like it does. What we've sort of established about it, and Asher, you can tweak this as much as you want because you seem interested in the algae, but we've kind of established that it gives you sort of visions of things that you want to happen or things that you'd like to see, like sort of wishful visions, sort of. And obviously tweak that as much as you want, but it could be a cool basis for a faith.
yeah.
Like finding.
Now let me pause here too, because I want to put another option on the table. This is the first time we've had kind of a split in what players wanted, and that is cool to do. What that would mean is some people would work on one project and some people would work on another one. So we could do it that way if you wanted.
How many ticks do we need for a watchtower?
So a watchtower just requires 4 points, and a temple just requires 4 points.
Oh, we could probably do that then. Eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put both those projects on the table. I'll put them on the little arc sheet.
You know me, I push it all the time.
That you do, sir. And I appreciate you for it.
You have hope in this bleak world.
And the watchtower is endure or scout. Okay.
Are any of the other ones cultural?
The temple is cultural. I think it's the only thing at your culture level that will actually generate more culture. I think everything else is kind of just right now outside of your reach.
We're kind of in a culture hole. We need to get to 5 before we can like keep pushing it. Otherwise, we'd have to just find an artifact, which I guess we could do that too. But
well, let's do that day's work. We kind of go around and I ask people what they're working on, and we have them make that roll. And it'll be a chance for us to show you how the roller works with the syntax of that.
And Esther can buy a shovel.
Yeah, a spade.
How do you buy things?
So for 1 bullet, you can buy a spade, and that will give you an extra die when you work on a project.
All right, I don't have any guns, so I don't need bullets.
Well, yeah, bullets are the currency.
Okay.
Everything is bought and sold in bullets. It's like caps in Fallout.
Yeah, so I guess we'll do that. Go with spade.
Okay. Awesome. Let's start with Obakai. We've got 2 possible things on the table. What do you want to work on?
I think I will be down in the algae area, kind of maybe working alongside Vita and maybe kind of spooking him a little bit because he thinks I'm a threat to the entire people, and I think I'm genuinely trying to help out, but maybe I'm just a little scary while I'm working. I'm just like really intense working, and I think I'll use Endure for that.
Okay. So what he's going to do is, I want to show you this, Asher. There is a little syntax. There's a little handout that says syntax on it.
Right. I have that open.
Okay. So if you put that code into the chat window as it is, and then change the X to whatever numbers you have, that'll do the roller that we have for it. And if you have no gear dice, the last one, put a 0 if you don't have any. And it's weirdly skill, and then stat, and then item.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's have you put it in there. And let's see what it looks like.
All right.
All right.
So I've got my one green stat die that comes up as a 1, so that's nothing there. And then all the radioactive, or not radioactive, all the circular. What kind of symbol is that?
That is a nuclear symbol.
Nuclear symbol. Okay. So all the nuclear symbols are basically 6s, so they're also successes, and you're trying to get as many of those as you can. And because I generated 2, then that's 2 points towards the project.
Are you happy with that, or would you like to push it? If you push it, you're going to take damage, because we see that you've already rolled 1 there.
Right, and I would take damage to my strength because that's the stat I'm using, and I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Let's think. So Vita is going to be working on this as well. Or sorry, didn't mean to assume. Who else is interested in working on this? Because I guess we could think about how many dice they have for it, and it might be better for me to just push it.
People can choose once they see what's on the table.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for the temple. If it still needs it by the time it comes around to me, I can do it. I don't know what it requires. You're looking at the book. I haven't heard. So.
It's that's Endure or Manipulate for the temple, or Endure or Scout for the Watchtower.
I'm going to go ahead and push.
Okay. So what he does is he pushes, essentially clicks on that blue button, and he gets 3 successes and takes 2 damage. So what that means is that he is down 3 strength now for any strength-related tasks from this point forward. So we're 75% of the way on that project done, and you're kind of building something up. Who else wanted to work on the temple?
I do. I typically wait until the end, but I can roll on it.
Okay. And certainly you express an interest in the Vita in the Watchtower, so makes sense to have you work on that. So, Sherry, let's have you finish off, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully. Let's see here. Door. That. All right.
2 successes.
All right. Does that one roll over to something else?
Nope.
No.
Well.
So tell me what you do to assist with the building of the temple.
I think that inherently, it's that I recognize that the LG needs to be sort of special and set aside and stuff like that. So I'm the one that sort of designs the platform that goes around the water source that the LG's in, and kind of builds a font like a proto fountain where it sort of burbles up
Okay.
And so it's kind of like the only way you can get to it is to go through the temple.
I
If
like
that makes
that.
any sense.
That is very nice. Do you want to roll the d6 to see how much you get for culture?
Sure.
And there's some box in there with that says offerings. It's uncouth not to tip.
3 is perfect because it takes you up to 5 on your culture, which means that that actually opens up a bunch more projects for you.
Awesome.
So tell me, Syntax, what kind of watchtower are you building? What are you doing to do that? And how do you want to have Vita help you with that?
Maybe, well, we're probably building it close to this place here. So like propped up against it. And then like, so we build it so it's against the wall, and then we build up, and then it has like a little bit of wheels on the bottom, and then we roll it over to the side of the deck. And so it's like we can kind of move it to wherever we need it. But I think like over here something is where we'll most need it, because that's where we can look onto the land.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're probably just using like rusted stuff, like rusted metal and wood and stuff like that. So it looks probably like, Warcraft 1 watchtowers.
Okay.
where it's like
it's a
barely
reference.
Serviceable. But I think part of why I take this up too is because I think if we had a watchtower, then Silas wouldn't have been able to leave like this, right? Or
the dark regrets you still have. If you'd had watchtower, you wouldn't have let him go.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a bad turn.
That's a bad roll there.
Yeah. So I'm hurt, and I broke my spade that I just bought.
Only if you push it.
That was the push.
That was an immediate push.
Gosh, I didn't see your first roll.
Yeah.
I
decided to push because there's nothing. So it's like, well,
what happens to you when you go to try and build this watchtower that injures you so badly?
I like to think that maybe I'm still sucked into those thoughts of not being able to find Silas and being like not good at my job, or just being angry at Silas in general, that when I'm trying to do good work, then I just get too angry and like I oversaw wood, or I'm just putting too much strength in specific places, so I just never really get started, even though I'm working on it.
Probably something hits you, as you're moving along, comes down, injures you. So let's come to you, Vita. This project isn't going as well as you'd hoped. It's kind of a little bit slower. How does Vita help out with the planning or construction of this watchtower that you guys want?
I probably have notes of like how to build things, like what watchtowers look like.
Okay. Sketch something out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, and I can take what we already have and like build upon that so it's better constructed.
Yeah.
And I got that spade, so that should help too.
Yeah, so go ahead and you'll roll. Do you want to roll Endure or Scout? Which is better for you?
I have one in each. So.
Okay, and are the stats the same on both for those?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all good.
And then does the spade count as gear?
Yeah, it's an extra gear die.
Okay. So I'm not sure what numbers to put.
Oh, so your skill is 1, so the first number is going to be a 1.
Okay.
And then what is your stat?
What stat is it?
If it's it'll either be it'll either be strength or agility there. And I think those are 3s for you, right?
Right. So
So
3.
second number will be a 3, and then the last one will just be a 1.
Okay.
All right. So right now, as it stands, you have 1 success, which is great. It's a quarter of the way towards it. Now you could, if you wanted to, push it, and that would allow you to re-roll the 2 4s, the 5, and the 3. You could get more successes, but you might also potentially do some damage to yourself.
Can I use my ability to like heal damage too? Or
Well, that's more for critical injuries. This is just the kind of fatigue and wear that you get from exhaustion here on your strength.
Well, yeah, I think it would be really cool if we got both of these. So I'd like to push myself.
All right.
Get 2 things
So you
done at
hit the
once.
blue button.
All right, it looks very similar.
Yeah. So you get 1 success towards the project, but you don't take any extra damage.
Oh, that's
So that's the good news.
So now we have 2 successes.
Have 1 success towards that project. So it is not quite there yet, but you guys are building the watchtower. I'd like to roll into that if I could. And I want to start with you, Vita, and then I'll kind of try and we'll kind of move to link other people in if that's cool with you. I kind of want to frame it before we take our break, because we'll take 5 minutes at the midpoint. You're up there, and again, imagine that end of the ship, that top point, is up in the air, because this whole thing is at an angle. So the deck is kind of slightly crooked, and that's up high, and you're kind of building that watchtower there. And across the way, connected by those various falling cranes and things, is the party barge, where the boss Orion is at. If you can see that sort of down below on the bottom left of the ship. And you've been planning this out, looking at the watchtower, and kind of up there, maybe checking your specifications. You're not sure exactly why it isn't going together as well as you'd like. And it's cold. This boat is over that water, so the wind is coming off of that. There's probably a little bit of snow in the air. And it's pretty late. But you will see a group of clearly people from the Ark. You kind of recognize the sort of scattershot clothing and bits and piece together things that they've got. Coming across some of the fallen wreckage across the water, and they're heading for the party barge, heading for Orion's place, and you will see that they have in tow what looks like maybe 6 other people that are dressed very differently. They have what looks like matching clothing, and their hands are tied together, and it looks like the Orion's people have clearly captured them and tied them up and are kind of sneaking them up over to the barge under cover of darkness. What do you want to do?
So they're walking to the...
Yeah, it looks like they're heading. They're down below on the ground below. They've got these 6 people. You've never seen people like these before. The Ark's only recently realized that there are people really out there because a couple have been brought in. But 6 people in matching clothing. Clearly, Orion is trying to sneak them in so nobody sees them.
Right. So I'd want to tell people about it, right? Make sure that he can't sneak it.
Sure. Who would you go to?
So,
Or would you raise a hue and a cry?
what was that?
Do you want to
Raise a
shout out?
cry.
Do you want to make noise? Or do you want to go find somebody? What do you want to do?
I think I would go to the tavern, right? Like,
Okay.
that's where people would be.
Run down to the tavern. Any KO. Let's say you are there. There in the evening. In fact, actually, let's say that the three of you are there, just to make things easier. When the chronicler Vita comes through the makeshift door, the tavern is it's pretty ramshackle and hastily assembled. But Vita, you see three people that you know. What do you do? What do you do?
I think on the way I'll be like writing on my journal, so I can like post it on the wall, like 6 people coming.
And the other problem with that is nobody reads except for the chroniclers.
Maybe like
Elaborate
pictures of them or
pictures?
something.
Oh yeah, a little pictogram.
Pictogram of them.
So come bursting in. What do you do? What do you tell them? Who do you go to first? Who is of the 3 that are there the one that you would actually trust or not trust or talk to?
Yeah, I think I would go to Anikio and Obakai because they were working on the temple. And tell them what we saw while we were working on the watchtower, right? Because I kind of assume Syntax.
Oh no, Syntax had already wandered off
Okay.
with his guilt and despair. That's why he got nothing done on the project.
Right. Okay, but I'd still tell them first. Like, Syntax is already gone.
Okay, and I sort of stand up and I go, so
People.
So I'm like going, okay, so here like Orion's up to something sneaky and there's people out there. And I go, what if they're like Bayra and Ellen? So I'm like, we got to go check on this. And are there other people in the tavern?
Let's say no.
No, that's inconvenient.
Yes.
All right, then.
But it does force you to fall on your own resources since you asked.
Yes. Okay. But on our way over, what I'm going to do is if I catch anyone that, on our way that's like belongs to one of the bosses, I'm going to go, hey, go tell Jahaman that Orion's up to someone and he's trying to sneak some people onto his barge. And essentially just to get the other bosses with their eyes on the situation, if that makes any sense. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to handle it.
Okay.
And that's my take on it. I don't know if you guys want to do anything, but that's because she's going to go stir up some trouble, but it's not going to go without some backup.
So that seems like you're maybe trying to manipulate.
Oh, okay. If that needs to go to a roll, sure, I can try.
This is. I think it's not a problem to pass it along. I want to see what the level of reaction is.
Yeah, that's fine. I just hadn't even considered taking it to a roll, but I will do it. Okay, and you want me to manipulate? Okay. Don't expect much from this. That's not my thing.
Okay.
But I still got 2 successes.
It's perfect. So you are drawing people's attention. So you head out. Vita's kind of heading out. What about so you're raising the alarm with people. What about Syntax? What about Obakai?
I think I had to go check on Bayra and Ellen then as soon as I get word that it could have been them. Like maybe I hear that when any KO says it.
Okay. And that would be no problem for you to kind of rush down to where they're at. And calmly, excitedly? What I mean?
Probably like panicked.
Okay. So that's unusual for you. So when you throw the door open, kind of panicked, there will be that shriek from Ellen, and Bera moves to kind of put her arm over her to protect the tiny mutant, and it kind of is shocked. What's going on?
Strangers are out in the dark. Just make sure that you stay here, keep Ellen safe, lock the door. I'll be back when I know what's going on. And then I run out again.
Okay. Hear that crack of the metal as she shuts it and locks it. What about you, Obakai?
I think I would go out of the tavern into kind of like a little walkway where I know that Bosco and a few of his friends would be gambling or playing dice or something like that. And I'd call out to him and I'd be like, hey Bosco, there's some sketchy folk. Orion, he's sneaking some folk onto his barge. Looks like he's got prisoners. We're going to go check it out. He shouldn't be doing that without informing us. You coming?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for you?
That's what I asked.
Avoiding a shot to the gut. Come on, buddy.
Oh. Well, when you put it that way, asshole, okay.
I can intimidate him if I want. It might be a little more of a friendly thing. Like,
yeah, no.
Like,
you put the fork to him. He notes it for future reference. Let you walk in front of him so you can show your back to him. But you can gather a couple of people along. Does take a bit to get some people together. Nikio's kind of gone off to spread the word. Fraser. Syntax has run down there. Vita, they kind of take off in all different directions to raise the alarm and such. What does Vita do then? This is such a new thing for the whole. No one kind of knows what to do.
Right.
So,
but there are all these bosses. So I think I would go to any of the other bosses they haven't been to.
Sure. So who would you go to? Pick a boss. Let's decide one that you know. Do you know Delight, who runs the water, or Marlot, who's kind of a schemer, or Johamund, who's kind of got a force behind him, or all the way down at the other end of the arc is Victoria, and that's Obakai's buddy.
I think Delight sounds good. I don't see them on the NPC page though.
Oh yeah, I haven't got a picture for him because we introduced her the game. You can go up to where Delight is at. You're a chronicler. People give you a lot of leeway because you know stuff, and you will be called in, and Delight's there, kind of relaxing on his chair, and he's like, "Oh hey man, how you doing? What's up, my chronicler friend?"
I saw people approaching. They're trying to hide them under cover of dark. Right?
People? What kind of people? Like us people, or like them people?
Some of them were us people, and they were leading them people.
Oh.
So
you came to me first?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good person. I like you. I really like chroniclers, but man, they just die like flies. So yeah, let's keep you from dying.
That would be great. What?
Yeah. What you need anything?
Maybe some protection.
Okay, I'll grab some boys and we'll go on down and see what the deal is. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay. So you will proceed to he'll throw some people together, some of his enforcers, and you can head on down the ship towards the crossing point where Marlad is on. This has taken a while. So I will say that you guys can gather together. Information has been spread to various people. However, probably by this time, that our friend Orion has gotten the people up into the rig, though probably some other people have seen something, but you've definitely got everyone's attention. Let's take our 5-minute break here, and when we come back, we'll talk about how you want to approach that. Sound good? Okay, we'll take 5.
Hello, look what came for me today to prove. Cascade.
Is this like the third one?
This is the second book?
Yeah, but it's like the third proof you've got.
Third of Cascade?
Yeah, I keep seeing you post different proofs.
That was the Veil. The second
Okay.
printing.
Oh,
This
you're
is the
right,
first-
right.
Yeah, this is the first one that I think I've done on this one. And it looks gorgeous.
And then they're coming out at the same time, right?
Yeah, they're coming out of this. They're being printed and shipped at the same time, yeah. So it looks great.
It's exciting.
Some pretty colors.
Nice and green.
So should I pick up another copy then if you got the corrected edition
Of what?
of the Veil? Are you doing a second printing of that with corrections?
Yeah, the second printing has a bunch of corrections, and it has 12 to 14 new pieces of art, full page art.
I will have to buy a second copy then, so that we have it.
Ooh. Very kind of you.
Oh no, we played enough of it.
Yeah. We wouldn't be all that kind. It's just that every game we've played of the Veil has been.
My niece and nephew really dug it. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, Obakai, you've grabbed a handful of folks from Victoria's that were gambling outside the tavern. You can move back. Now, here's the situation. So, by the point that the time that you kind of come back with some people and NEKO has spread the word, you'll see that Orion's people have kind of gone up into their party barge. Now, the question is what you want to do then. Getting across to there requires going past Marlot, and also requires kind of a rickety crossing there. So what do you want to do?
Unless you can fly.
There is that.
I think the option is the rickety crossing. I mean, the thing is that like if Orion's people got these people past Marlot, then either she's in on it or
so she didn't get past Marlot. As I said, they were coming on the water over.
Oh,
brought them up, so didn't come anywhere onto the ship.
Okay, so then I think we would NEK, if NEK, are you with us then? Are we traveling together?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Then I think it might be wise to kind of head into Marlot's and let her know that people like Orion was trying to kind of trespass and not use, she's usually the one who lets people through and back and always has a say and an eye on that. And I don't think is Marlot she, her, or he, him, or?
That she, her. She only keeps control of people going from the boat over to the barge.
Okay. And it wouldn't necessarily be like taboo for them to just go up onto their barge without her knowing, right. I guess.
But if you come rolling on into there with some people, NEKO and you come out, and of course that looks a little aggressive. You've been known to be aggressive about Orion before, so there is that a thing where some people go ho 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 wait, where are you guys going?
We have business with Orion.
And NEKO will step forward and she'll go, Orion just took 6 people that are outsiders onto his barge. So he's moving people onto the ships, essentially into our demesnes and not going through anyone else.
Okay, this guy kind of slows you down. You'll see he kind of gestures over you see another one of Marlotte's enforcers, Joe Knotts, come over. He's got the big Mickey Mouse helmet on, and he says, and you kind of barely hear him through the thing. He's like, we're gonna get Marlotte. You gotta talk to Marlotte first. You don't get to go across.
Okay, get Marlotte.
You got a problem with that? Oh, you said okay.
Marlotte. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with you. So find her, and we'll deal with her. And I want to make a point that when he was coming up to us, I let out like this really low rumbling growl from the back of my throat. Syntax is my buddy, and I have a big problem with this guy.
Do you want to roll intimidate? Do you want to cause a problem here?
Not really. I want to be a little hostile to him, kind of. Just that's my outward expression.
All right. I will say by the time they get Marlotte, that Syntax, you will have arrived, and Vita, you will have arrived with a couple of Delights people in tow. And so there's a fairly large group of you at this point. And Marlotte comes out. She takes her time. She walks over. She's got skin that almost kind of doesn't move. It's solid. Her face, she moves her mouth, but all of her expression kind of stays the same when she's talking to you. And she'll say, she looks around. She looks at you, Vita, new chronicler, Inikeo. So, which one of you people with a head on your shoulders is going to tell me what's going on?
Vita saw Orion's people dragging 6 people, tied up, all in matching outfits, clearly outsiders, onto the barge.
And you want to go over there and take them from him?
She goes, yeah, kind of do. I mean, slaves or exiles, they're people who've done wrong. Outsiders, though, those aren't, you can't just bring them on without bringing them through, introducing them, figuring out how they're going to fit in on the ship.
All right. That's a good point. See, there's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other on this for me. Is that I don't particularly want to set a precedent. People going over and stealing, taking people's shit that they've gathered. You can understand my reluctance on that point, right?
Yeah, I can see shit that they've gathered, but people maybe not so much. We don't want them to... It just sort of stops and goes. If anyone you can push around can be made a slave, then things are going to get real ugly real fast.
And she'll turn to you, Vita. She said, Vita, right? Vita.
Right.
What's the chronicler's position on this?
I think we should be able to use them. I just don't want it to be a threat, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm just worried about these people being used against us, right?
All right. And she gestures to Delight's boys and to the people that you brought with you. there, Obakot. And she says, you four can go over. Put your case to them. Tell them that Marlot and Delight are standing by to hear what they have to say. But I'm not letting a force of people go over tonight. Are we all on the same page?
Marlot, you know what Orion can be like. And if we walk over there, just the four of us, and start claiming that they've done wrong by the community by bringing these people aboard, they may see that as a threat and an excuse to take action against us. When Orion clearly has a problem with people like me, like us. And I look around at my crew.
Fair enough. I'll tell you what. If he kills all four of you, I'll send some people over to take care of things, all right?
And I say, that's great, Marlot. Thank you. That seems more than reasonable.
And so her people will back off. Jonat's the whole time is just watching you there, Syntax.
Maybe we should take a nap before we go on this trek.
We've already wasted enough time. They could have done anything with these people by now, and if this is our precedent for dealing with outsiders, then I don't want to be part of this place anymore.
Okay, but I like look a little bit nervously at like the slash in my arm. That's just like covered in probably not very sanitary bandages because we don't truly know what we're doing. Yeah.
And she goes, well, I guess I can go and talk to him. I don't know.
Not alone. Not alone.
But Obi, honest to God, you are more trouble than help.
I will restrain myself, but I will not have you wander onto that rig alone with those crowd of wild folk. I see the irony. I see the irony.
She's like, you guys. She'll sort of walk on. She'll go, if you're not feeling up to it, Syntax, stay back.
Well, I'll come with you, but just know that if things go violently, I can only protect you guys so much. But then I put down my hockey mask and I'm like, but I'm good at telling people what to do.
The Lightbringer, Vida, you can heal, can you not? Tend to our wounds, if it comes to that.
If you break your bones, I can tend to that. But if they're minor wounds,
yeah,
I can't help much.
That's all we need.
Let's just not get any wounds.
Janat says, Hey, Syntax.
Yes.
Where are your two girlfriends?
Somewhere you won't ever find them. And then I cock my rifle.
Marlot goes, you two assholes, stop it.
So many assholes, I say as I'm walking out the door.
I eject the bullet from the chamber and catch it, and then look at Jonat's.
I could leave it to that. I was thinking for it to protect my or risk something for my PC buddy, I could potentially just try and talk some shit on the way out and maybe step out of line a little bit.
Do you want to? Do you want to cause trouble?
I think I do. I don't want it to cause a lot of time, but I want to potentially have that be a thing.
Okay. Do you want to roll intimidate?
Yeah, definitely. I think I would
that's a skill. Let's go ahead and have you roll that, and let's see what the effect is here.
Cool.
I think I'm going to have you drop a couple dice because you're in his home court.
Okay, sure.
But
I'm
that
already
should still give you.
Well, this is strength, so I already am down 2. So it's 1 for intimidate, and then so drop 2 for the disadvantage. Okay, so I got 2 dice on this. All right, and I think I basically say like I just step up to him, kind of like clacking my jaw a little bit, and I say like, make another comment like that, and you'll wake up with my jaws around your neck, or something super edgy and badass like that. Boom. Ah.
Do you want to push it?
Not going into this conflict. I can't take any more damage.
Okay. So you say that, and he goes, ha 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 ha.
I just maybe I like go to do something. You guys can see me like tense up, but then I just like
knock behind him as you start to do something.
Yeah, totally. And then I also think better of it, like look back to my companions and just turn my head and just stride out.
Bye-bye.
Slam the door.
So it's Vina, I assume it's you and an NEKO kind of at the front of this. Marlot will send a person with you to help you walk across. What do you imagine that crossing is like there from the one part to the other? What's the real challenge there? NEKO, let me ask you first.
I think that it's actually pretty sturdy because there's money to be made and people surviving to come back and go again. But you do need to have been practiced to do it, to know where to take the steps and stuff. So we kind of do need the guide.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Vita, do you imagine that you've gone across here before, or is this not a place you usually go?
I might have gone on expeditions, right?
Okay.
So maybe like once or twice. That's definitely not like a normal thing.
All right. So you will go across, and you guys kind of go up and down. You got the sort of the frames of this, these fallen cranes, and got it set up, and it kind of go down and up, and then up, and there are a couple of guard dudes. When you get to the other side, people have seen you coming. You know, it's pretty easy to note that there are people coming, and you will see when you get over there that you will see sort of a bestial-looking guy. You'll recognize him as the Fixer Sixter. And he's standing there kind of waiting. And he says, so, hey, all those things, which were, yeah. So, you're coming over. What's the thing?
Sort of message from some of the other bosses for Orion.
Ooh. What other bosses?
Delight? Marlon?
Victoria.
Kind of makes a gesture when you say Victoria. Okay. Well, hey then, why don't I take you for on up then? If you've got some business and you're repping the bosses, then do you come in the name of the elder then? Right? You're one of the scribey boys, right? Chronicler, that type of thing.
Describing the people I'm with.
Yeah, he says, "Are you coming from the elder? Is that who Sent you?
I'm coming from myself. I saw. I don't know. I helped put the party. Or yeah, I helped put the party together.
Okay. Walks you on. You'll notice as you walk around that.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question? As I understand it, Orion prefers people who look pretty normal, right?
Yep.
And
he's like the only. Everyone here has mutations.
Yeah, but they don't look it.
This is the only guy here you see who has a visible mutation.
Okay. And what do I know about how he's treated out here? Is it because he's...
That's a good question. You know that he and Orion have been tight for a long time, and Sixter didn't always look like this. This was a developed mutation later on.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the one that he lets kind of let that slide. And he'll walk you in. Again, this oil barge there, and he will bring you into kind of a party tent, made of tarpaulin and plastic and all that stuff. And there's some multicolored lighting around, and it's kind of fancy. And the smell of booze is heavy in the air. They've got a lot of stills here. And again, no one around here besides Sixter seems to have visible mutations. And you see some people talking with Orion, and sort of a serious looking fellow, though kind of crazed hair. I think you had a picture for him, didn't you, Matt?
I did, yeah. It's in the general NPC notes handout. There's a link to a Pinterest in there.
Now, I think that one is Victoria.
There's one that's not a link. I don't know why it didn't hyperlink, but it's just text.
I see what it is. Okay. Just
very edgy dude.
Sorry.
Thorny even.
Yeah. You are so welcome. Comes over, walks over to you. Hey, it's a chronicler. How are you? What's your name again?
Vita.
Yeah, Vita. I like you. You're all clean and not got any of the fucked up look like some of these others. You're cool. I am Orion. Welcome to the party barge. Oh, I heard about your fall there, Syntax. Sorry about that. Got those wings, huh?
Oh. Yeah, well, at least I can fly now. That's pretty cool.
Really?
So he doesn't have anything?
Not visible mutations.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have, like Vita, have powers, but don't have visible signs of those powers.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah. You've heard that Orion has a couple of mind powers. So, what's the deal?
We saw people headed over here. You tell us.
Oh, saw people headed over here. What are you talking about, Chronicler? What's the way for?
What's the way for?
What for? What the thing? The hap? The biz?
The biz.
People heading over here. What'd you see?
I don't know.
It's dark out.
You haven't seen anyone?
I didn't say that. I'm asking you what you say you saw. That's how these things work. It's transactional business.
The business.
Yeah.
Well, I want to confirm that but if they were coming here, you should know they were here already. Like what?
See, you're playing all mind gamey with me here, all chronicler, fancy talk here. Okay, I see where we're going with this. Okay. I get you. Neko? What about you?
6 people that you brought over, tied up, dressed the same. You were seen. The other bosses saw you. You're bringing in outsiders to the ship, to the barge. You need to bring them through. Introduce them to the elder. Discuss how they're going to fit in. Just because you're over here doesn't mean you're not getting your share of the water and your share of the grub. You bring 6 more people in. They are outsiders. We have to figure out how we're going to handle that.
And they certainly will not be slaves.
And she sort of stops and she goes, you need to negotiate that. You're going to be pulling people in.
All right. That seems like you're coming over here. You've got a couple of bosses with some power behind you, plus Victoria. And so seems to me you're stating a case here.
Yeah, I'm stating a case.
I will hand over 4 of those people to you.
And what plans do you have for the remaining 2?
Don't know yet. If they've got info, if they know what's out in the zone, I want to know that first. I want to get that first.
Talking about gathering info from them like they're resources. These are people you're bringing on. They're not some treasure you found out in the zone that you can hold for yourself.
I don't think you know people.
I don't think he does either, but we do know politics. It's a lovely deal, but it's not mine to accept.
Well, then why don't you and your compatriots go back, talk to the chroniclers, talk to Marlot, talk to Delight, see if they're cool with it.
What if the next time you try to come to the boat, we just let 4 of you on?
Let's have you roll, one of you roll manipulate.
Okay. I'll help.
And somebody else who has a manipulate skill can add a die for assistance. I'm going to consider the pressure that you have behind you from the bosses sort of even up with the people he has here, and the fact that he has the people in hand. So who wants to roll that?
Oh, I don't even have manipulate. I have intimidate, maybe? No, I don't. There is no intimidate? How come my hockey mask says I can intimidate people?
If you were an enforcer,
oh,
that's the special skill for them.
What about dominate? Where's dominate? Oh, I don't have dominate either. No dominations.
Just slip me the mask. I'll put it on real quick and just, and then I'll hand it back to you.
I thought you had the sunglasses. Oh no, Victoria.
Oh, she claimed them.
Yeah.
Well, Vita, do you have manipulate? No, you do not. Okay. Well, do any of us have it?
I have inspire. I don't know if that would help.
Inspire them to do it.
They're better selves.
I guess we could go to intimidate, but I don't know if I don't think you guys are okay with me doing that.
No, I mean that wasn't the intent when we came over. I put a point into one thing. Can I switch it over since I haven't used that thing?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
I'm fair.
Yeah, I got crappy stats for this, you guys. So. Okay.
What? I haven't spent an experience point yet.
Well.
Do you have a pick? Did you have 5 points?
I think so. It says that I have 5, but I'm not sure if I was counting from the first one being 0 or 1. Because if I use them all, then it resets back to the first one, but then the first one would be 1.
So, Fraser, I'm going to ask you, do you have 5 points to buy something?
I don't think so. Not unless I count the first one as a point, and I'm not sure if I was doing that.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I will make a roll.
Can I bug them then with my intense buzzing noise that drives people up the walls?
Do you want to do that?
Well, will that make them acquiesce? Because it's annoying.
It might make them do something else, much like an intimidate.
But they'll suffer doubt. That sounds right.
Sure. I mean, you could do it. It is an obvious and kind of a aggressive thing to do, though, right?
Yeah.
I have a thing. I can entrance a humanoid and make them suffer confusion, which would bring down their wits, which might be more relevant in a negotiation situation. And maybe
Again,
a little
obvious.
Is it though? How does it work? Like, isn't it just my look? Like my.
I think it's a little more obvious than that. Most of these powers that have a visible effect when they go off.
That's fair.
I think I'll change fight to manipulate then, because I don't have a gun or anything.
Sure.
There you go.
Great. How many dice do you have, Asher, in empathy and manipulate?
I have 4 in empathy, 1 in manipulate.
Okay, so you have 2 more dice than I do. I will happily assist you. I have stated the case, and I will nod along with you if you would inspire and or manipulate. I do not know what inspire does, so cannot insist.
So if you're going to manipulate, then you get an extra skill die for any KO's assistance.
Great.
And you're like you're not the hand of the elder, but you're a very important person. Remember that.
Okay.
You write the history.
I do. And we need the right history.
You can be very forgiving and flattering, or not. When you write this up.
And then there's no gear for this roll, right?
No.
Okay. It's a lot of green.
I'll make you a compromise. Offer you this compromise. Make a good case, you guys. You're going to listen to my compromise. Does that sound like a reasonable thing? What do you think, Vita?
I'll hear it first.
Okay. I will offer you 5 of the 6 people to take back over to the Ark. And I will turn over the 6th one after I've had time to properly debrief them.
Debrief them. How about
a counter offer. Ballsy
as long
chronicler.
as we choose the 5 people.
Pardon?
As long as we choose the 5 people. Like it sounds like you have someone in mind.
Okay, it sounds to me like maybe you're going to push your roll here, right?
All right.
So you can hit that blue button.
Button.
Fuck, you fucking chronicler.
Sounds good.
Okay. They'll get you guys out of my hair. Get you gone tonight. That seems cool to me. Okay?
All right.
You'll get to pick which 5 go and which one of these 6 gets to stay behind here in terror with me. Okay? So let me go get them. Hey, Sixter, why don't you get them some grub while they're waiting? And Sixter will go over and opens up a thing has some like burning stuff in it. He has some zone meat that's been cooked on skewers that he'll bring over to where you guys are at. Zone rat?
You are very generous. Thank you.
Yeah, I take it and I wait for like Obi to like smell his and make sure it's not like poisoned and stuff, and then after that I eat it.
I'll be the test dummy for sure.
So he hands you the zone rat on a stick.
I sniff at it.
Smells like burnt zone rat.
And I stare Sixter in the eyes while I just take like a massive bite out of this, like half of the rat.
Careful, there might be splinters in there. What about you, Chronicler? Zone rat?
I think I'll do a similar thing, like make sure it's okay to eat, and then try some.
It's pretty good. They've clearly got somebody here who can zone cook, and it's been charred, so it has a little bit of that flavor. And after about 15 minutes, some of these of Orion's people come in, and you will see these 6 people in uniforms. Split sort of evenly, men and women. They all kind of have a glazed look in their eyes, and they're tied up, and they come in, and you'll see one of Orion's people clearly making them dance like puppets, and stops that, and there are these 6 suddenly panicked and terrified people here. And Orion goes, okay, pick the 5 that go.
When I look at him, can I tell which one is the leader or the decision maker among them? Do they seem to be associated with each other?
Do you have sense emotion?
I have it. Again, it's not my strong point, but I will give it a try.
Okay.
I'd like to help.
Okay. the extra die.
I think I'm more. Sorry, go ahead.
Did I take like damage or anything from pushing?
No, not at all. You did well.
I forgot what to do for that.
That's okay.
Oh, shit, damage. Yay, I got one.
It will take you a bit, but you can see that the older of the males, the one that looks a little frailer of the six, so you kind of looked over and past him the first time. You realize that the others are looking to him to, make the decision.
Okay, and that's what I'll do is I'll actually approach them and say, they have offered that we can take 5 back to the main ship where she goes, you will have some choice. There will be others that you can speak to and stuff. He will keep one back to ask questions and then send them later.
Take the other 5. Leave me here.
Thank you. We will do that. And she looks to the other ones to see that they've heard that.
They have?
She goes, I will do what I can to protect them.
And they will, one of the guys walks up and kind of cuts the older guy off from the pack, kind of grabs him by his arms, and take him back into Orion's tents there. Orion says, so, you've got 5. Are we done here?
Yes, we will tell the chroniclers that you will be sending the last gentleman over then.
I will. Now get the fuck off my rig.
Very well. Thank you.
You've been very kind.
He looks at you. You can come back. And there are 5 terrified people in this kind of sort of odd, not particularly, not particularly well insulated or reinforced for the weather, these uniforms. And you can lead them back across to the other side. And when you get there, you'll see that Marlot has some people there, and Delight has some people there, and Victoria has some people there, and there's clearly some discussions going on about what's going on and how this is going to get divvied and all of that kind of thing. And Delight is actually here, and he'll say, "Oh, my friend, Vida, look at you all dragging some people back over from the other boat. Aren't you just the shit?"
I didn't even have to use your people.
See, that's all. That's efficiency like that. And nobody got in a fight, huh? He looks at you, Obakai.
It was a struggle, but I restrained myself.
And he'll say, so, kind of looks at Marlot, and he says, so you're going to take these 5 to meet with the elder?
Yes. And she sort of stops and says, we'll let them get acclimated and figure out where they fit in best.
And you can see Marlot maybe maybe see her maybe start to object, but she sees that Delight and Victoria have some people there and doesn't want to force the issue. And she'll say, okay. And they'll let you take these 5.
And as soon as I get that okay, I'm like moving them forward. It's that sort of just before anyone changes their mind or gets ready to put up an argument, just be moving on.
And I'm making a path for them, just kind of like walking, like being as big as I can, just making sure nobody steps up to us.
Okay. It's Joe Knotts isn't there, Syntax.
What do you mean? Like in Marlotte's place, you mean?
Yeah, he was here before when you guys went over, but now he's not here.
I go check on Ellen.
Okay. See Syntax take off. So let me ask you this, Vita. Do the chroniclers have like a central place that they meet at, or a building or something like that? What do you imagine for that?
I mean, there's the chronicler's hut on the map.
Okay.
Right.
And what do you imagine that's like?
I kind of imagine it like how the tavern isn't really a tavern. Like, this isn't really a library.
Okay.
Right? Like they tried to construct a library, but they don't have the right materials.
And these people come in, they look around, they're clearly freaked out, but you can get them settled down, and sort of they see the 3 of you there, and they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and of the 3 of you, Vita, you, and NEKO certainly look the most normal.
So I think I'll chronicle, like try to get their stories and write them down.
Okay.
Like if they have any things
so
down.
Let me actually have you roll Inspire. You're going to get some story from them, but I want to see how you're actually going to kind of draw them out here.
Okay. So that would just be 1 dice because I just have Inspire.
If you have a die of Inspire, and Inspire goes with, I believe, Empathy.
Okay, it's not listed. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just wrote Inspire. That's why it's not listed. So. Not Inspire. Empathy. Empathy.
Oh, look at you.
Nice. Wow, I'm not taking any.
Yeah, so you get them absolutely calmed down. You see the other sort of senior chronicler, Azazel, comes in, kind of looks, realizes that you have things under control, and will kind of back off and leave you to handle it. Kind of hovers around because he wants to hear, but realizes that this is your story to get. And they'll say, we traveled far through the zone. The kind of takes him a minute. He calls it the waste, and you kind of go, okay, well, the zone, and he has to kind of work through that. And we saw many things, and then we saw light on the ship from a distance, and so we came this way, and then we were captured. It's you're not going to kill us, are you?
No, you're free here on the ship. Free to move around, at least.
We saw others like you, not with, and it kind of points at Obakai with mutations, deformities. They were feeding on other people.
Do not have fear. I have no
Yeah.
taste for flesh.
Yeah. I have to say, when he says feeding on other people, NEKO makes a horrible face. Like, that's the most disgusting thing.
This is, there were many things we saw. There was a place near the water, and we saw the beginning of the journey. We saw people like you, and he points to Obakai with the scales. And then we traversed further, and there were warning signs sending us away. A great structure. And then we traveled further, came to the water, and followed it along. Many of us died. And then we were captured.
If we bring you a map, do you think you could find the places?
I could probably.
Yeah.
We tried to track, but there were so many that died.
She stops and says, have you guys eaten? Have you had something to drink?
We've eaten very little. It makes us sick.
We make the food safe here. It's safe for us. Would you like to try it?
Okay.
Okay.
And with 2 successes, I will say that you guys can get these people. Vita can move around and get these people super calmed down, under control, relaxed. They're not freaking out. They're taking in the fact that Obakai looks different. They're able to deal with that very quickly.
Awesome.
Let me cut very quickly to you there, Syntax. Kind of run down, get over to that area, and you will reach that place, and the door is shut. What do you do, Syntax?
I knock.
Secret knock?
Yeah, I've got some sort of pattern.
Okay. And after a minute or two, you'll hear the sort of grinding of the metal, and the door will open, and you'll see Bayra looks out. Is everything okay?
Kind of, yeah. And then I guess I'll just tell her what happened with like finding other people and all that kind of stuff.
Did they come from the same place I do?
We don't know that yet. We just barely got them back from the party rig or whatever it's called. But at least who knows, baby? There's some people here that you might know or know of them, or
I don't remember anything, but if I will go with you if you think it'll help.
Well, let's let this get settled first, and then maybe you'll see them around, and maybe that will jog your memory.
All right, if you think that's for the best.
Yeah. And then I said I just came to give you an update and lock the door again, though. There's who knows what's up.
Okay.
And then I'll go stalk around and make sure that Jonatz isn't around.
Kind of shut the door, kind of walk around, and you'll kind of head out to the main entryway that leads up onto the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Joe Nats and a couple of his guys just sitting there.
Doing what? Just like hanging out?
Waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're just sitting there. There's that message he's sending that he knows where you live.
Yeah.
He knows where you keep the people you care about.
I know where your girls stay at.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just have to stalk him to his house.
Okay.
I'll Batman him tonight.
So he will when you see him, when you've made note of him, he sees that you've seen him, they'll all get up and they'll saunter back over to Marlotte's.
Right.
I think this is probably I hate to stop it sort of on a cliffhanger, but I think this is a good place for us to stop with these people brought back.
Yeah, totally.
And we can get that info from them next time if that's cool with you. Asher, are you in a couple more sessions this month? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I think I was just trying this on a whim.
Okay.
But I'll definitely.
Well, I appreciate you trying it out.
I
hope it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to go back and listen to the other ones or watch what happened before.
Okay. And I appreciate you being willing to be flexible to try it out. The game very much flips between being in the arc and being out in the zone. And I wanted to make sure we kind of stayed in the arc because that's where your strengths sort of lie. So I wanted to make sure that we got you a chance to play with some of your skills tonight.
Okay, so there's a lot of fighting then. I imagine.
Let me dole out experience if you guys don't mind.
Not at all. We love experience.
So let's go through that process, the questions there. Find that page. I've run this 24 times and I still can't find the experience page on the first try. There it is. So everybody gets a point for participating in the session. Everyone gets a point for having performed work on one of the projects. You didn't explore a new sector. That doesn't give you a point. Did you sacrifice or risk something for your PC buddy? What about you, Obakai?
I think so. I tried to intimidate Jonats when I probably shouldn't have because he was talking smack. So
that seems fair, and you put yourself in a bad position there.
I'm sure
what about
that will have consequences?
Yes. What about you, Syntax?
I don't think so. My PC buddy was NEKO, and unless we count, I didn't punch and kill people when I wanted to.
I don't think that counts. It's not a sacrifice.
Exactly.
Any KO?
Mine was Obakai, and he was stirring up trouble, but it wasn't like I could protect him in that thing.
Okay.
I just, so that's one of the things is it's hard because he's a hard person to protect.
True. Asher, do you think that Vita protected any KO at any point or sacrificed or risked to assist?
Well, we did do the convincing together.
Yep.
Yeah,
where I would have failed, he stepped in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a point for that.
All right.
That
went very well.
Yeah. What about you, Obakai, for sacrificing or risking something to mess with the NPC you hate?
Well, I hate Orion, but I don't know if I risked anything. I kind of held back there. So
You did.
Yeah. I felt like I'd stirred up enough trouble over the last few sessions, so I maybe should have just laid low on this one.
That was fair enough. What about you, Syntax?
No, I hate Jonettes, but I didn't risk anything.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Not until you
Next
Batman
session.
stab him in the night.
Yeah.
What about you, Sherry?
Nope, I didn't see Carp Face.
Okay.
Had no time.
What about you? Who's the NPC that you hate?
I have Kara, but I didn't see her either.
Sorry. It is hard when we got a half session to do that. I need to be more careful about that. And finally, did you sacrifice or risk something to achieve your big dream? What about you, Obakai?
Well, my new big dream, I have simply wrote it as The Fall of Orion, The Rise of Victoria.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to give you a point because you pushed on something that definitely put a thorn in Orion's side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What about you, Syntax?
I don't think so. I put my big dream as to find sanctuary for quote unquote us.
Okay.
So I don't think so.
Okay. What about you, NEKO?
Well, mine is about building a safe place where I can invent and figure things out, and all of this is about making the arc safe place. So I'm going to have to hone that because that's too generic. So okay. No, but you didn't ask us if we protected our NPC person.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish the big dream and then I'll do the protect the NPC. Vita, what's your big dream again?
To make that arc a place of learning and culture.
Do you think that you kind of pushed on that today?
We did build a temple, but I think that's more for the algae thing I need to protect.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a point because you did frame that the discussion at the beginning about trying to bring more culture in. So that seems reasonable.
All right.
NPC want to protect Obakai.
It's Victoria, and no, I don't think so.
What about you, Syntax?
Yeah, mine's Bayra and Ellen, and I think I did that a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Yourself at risk there. Ran off by yourself.
Yeah.
What about you, NEKO?
Well, definitely the temple was all about arbitrary and all about building that way for me. So, yeah.
And which NPC did you want to protect, Vita?
I had the algae as a thing to protect, but I think I need to choose something else because that's kind of done.
That's a frame there. It's and that's one of the things is at the end of session you can always reframe those or change those around.
Okay, so
it's kind of a learning thing. And that would be it. If you have 5 points, you can buy a new skill, raise a skill up, or buy a new talent.
Curses, one away.
So I feel like I didn't have a chance to. I've got to be better. I should be better about getting you in faster, Asher. I feel like we didn't get as much as I could have for you, and I'm going to apologize for that on the sort of short session here. So I'm going to try and keep that in mind for future. But I hope it gave you at least a taste for this of how the system works.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm glad I did this.
So I'm going to stop the recording. We'll do Roses and Thorns next time and get that set. And we've got some information on the table from these people, which was the Wanderer's threat from the threat deck for Mutant Year Zero. Just tell you kind of frame up how that works. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.